I really do feel like so many people spend a lot of their lives hiding from themselves. But just keep in mind that every time you choose to hide, you choose to stay small, to shrink yourself into a mold that doesn't fit, a mold that isn't a representation of who you truly are. You do everything in your power to avoid the complicated truth of who you actually are. And so many people do this because it feels safer. It feels right in that very moment. But I want you to understand that that feeling of safe or safety is an illusion, and it's only going to be temporary. But this form of hiding that so many people are consumed by does nothing more than steal the one precious thing that you have, and that's yourself. That's why I feel like it's very important for us to focus on, this form of authenticity and always just being ourselves at every moment during our lives. And when you embrace your true self, you really do allow yourself to open that door to live the true life that you're destined for, where your decisions and actions align with who you truly are. And one thing that I've always noticed in my personal life about this form of authenticity is the fact that, there's no set standard for how things should be, in a sense, when it comes to people. We have so many different versions of people. People think differently, people look differently. So therefore, we cannot allow ourselves to be so consumed by others' viewpoints and opinions on what the standard is that we don't allow ourselves to just always be us. So that's why I feel like it's very important that we all get to a point in our lives where we don't care about what others say. We don't care about being judged. We don't care about this form of hiding and allowing ourselves to be enslaved and trapped in these forms of limitations that the world puts on us, because that's all it is. And I feel like so many people are just afraid of failure. They're afraid of what people may think. They're afraid of how people are going to perceive them if they actually put in a conscious effort to get a result and failed. But I'm here to tell you today that you can fail 1,000 times, and that 1,001st try, you can succeed. So will any of those losses previously even matter at that point? And the answer to that question is no, they won't matter. The world doesn't remember you for all the losses that you took. The world remembers you for that one victory or that success. Think about anybody that's ever done anything great in this country or even in this world. We don't see how much energy and how much losses majority of people face before reaching that point of success. All we see is the end goal, and we think that they just appeared there out of nowhere, that it just happened overnight. But this is not the case for so many people. So you really can't allow yourself to be so consumed by this fear of failure that it stops you from actually going out and trying. And one thing that's really helped me is just changing my perception on failure itself, what I actually believe that failure was. Because to me, failure isn't going through something and not getting the result that I wanted, because it's all about your perception. If you shift it from just the actual concept of winning itself and understanding that even during the period of losing, which is obviously probably going to be temporary if you try again, you are building yourself up, and there's so many small W's even in that form of loss that you may be experiencing at that very moment. But a lot of these fears can lead to avoidant behavior, being talked about, being judged, all outside noises, voices from people that won't even matter 10-15 years from now, more than likely. My life dramatically changed when I realized that, one, I cannot change the viewpoint of another human being, and two, I am going to be judged regardless. It doesn't matter what I do, there are going to be people that can make controversial statements on the things that I put out into the world, whether they're right or wrong. Morality is subjective. So therefore, just let people be who they are. Let people have something to say. But don't allow this fear of being judged or this fear of failure to stop you from doing anything in your life. Don't hide from yourself. Do not corner yourself off just simply because you may not be getting the results that you want, because at any given moment that can change. At any given moment you can wake up and finally get the result that you want. But if you quit, then you will never know. If you give up because you're falling back into, listening to those outside noises, then how will you ever know what you're truly capable of if you let the enemy win? Because that's all they are. If they're not on your team, if they're not helping you build and pushing you to reach success, then they're the enemy. But this concept of hiding is rooted in fear. So my question to you is, ask yourself, what are you so afraid of that you're not allowing yourself to get out of your comfort zone, to move to that new state or that new city, to take that new career path, or to do whatever it is that you may want to do that could potentially put you in a better position? What are you truly hiding from? And when you ask yourself questions like this, you have to be honest, because you're just talking to yourself. You don't have to be afraid of being judged. There's nobody in the room that can have anything to say about you besides yourself. So therefore, you figuring out what it is that you're hiding from will help you better diagnose and assess ways to go around that problem. Oftentimes, we are our biggest critics. We notice things about ourselves that the world would probably never know. And so many people bash themselves and look at themselves as if they're lower value, or they may have less worth than the next person because their flaws may be more exposed. But I'm here to tell you today that it doesn't matter if it seems like you have 1 or 10 flaws. We're all flawed as human beings. And one thing that's truly helped me overcome a lot of my fears in terms of hiding from myself is just understanding who I was, building myself into the person where I was confident in right and wrong decisions that I could potentially make. And the reason why I say right and wrong, because I understand that I cannot just do all right. Just like you should understand that no matter who you are, no matter who you think you are, you're going to have bad days just like you have good days. Yin and yang. Therefore, this form of acceptance really puts you in a position to be more confident, to be more open, because in all reality, your future self depends on it. Your future self depends on you getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of your bubble, and going out and doing something great in the world. When I first took a leap of faith and I moved out of my mom's house, I didn't know what I was doing. Majority of people aren't going to know what they're doing if they're first getting involved in something, or this is their first time getting exposed to a certain thing. Keep that in mind. If you have not been there before, if you have not witnessed, if you don't have any past experience on something, it is natural for you to feel uneasy or nervous or lack confidence or be fearful. But when you get the ball rolling, you have to develop that sense of confidence, because this is something that's going to keep you going. That momentum, that feeling of, man, I was scared to do this. I was hiding for so long, but I did what I needed to do to put myself in a position to take a risk or to try. And now things are actually playing out how I would want them to play out. You'll never realize how great you are until you realize how great you are. Even prior to starting anything, you have to believe, you have to have some sort of faith, you have to hope and know that you can get the result that you want out of your life. So if you're in a position right now where you've just been holding back, or you have some form of fears, or you just been closed off because you may lack confidence, man, you got to get up and you got to do something. The longer that you sit and you cry and you blame people for your current position, the longer you're going to be in that current position. Hiding away, allowing time to pass, wasting days is only going to delay this feeling that you have. This feeling of feeling like a failure, having these fears, not being confident. You do not want to live your life caged up, feeling like that. So take the time today to really be you. Take the time today to embrace every form of fear or flaw that you may have, and use it to your best advantage. Because there's people out here just like you who are also afraid, who are also fearful, who also may lack confidence, and they're doing what they need to do to get what they need to get done. You don't have to have all the pieces to the puzzle, but you do have to have a general idea of the overall makeup of that specific puzzle. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.